Hello there, my friends. We're just going to look at some houses again using the AI assistant and just trying to get it to tell us something about what's on the screen that is something that an expert would know. By the way, Grok is discontinuing this model, so there's going to be a new model in here. And if you're watching this after, I believe it's March, you're going to want to go into check for updates and then update, and then you'll have different models from Grok to drop down. Right now only supporting models from Grok GROQ, which is different from Elon Musk's GR. Okay, so this is the one that this app uses because it's very fast. And so just trying to, everything's in the prompt, just trying to get it to give me that technical name. So tell me what is pictured, but if it is a common chair, or if it is something like a common chair or common or common chair or obvious thing, you don't need to, you know what I mean? You don't need to just say what you see. Share the name of the thing if it is technical and the average person might not know what it is. So hopefully that's not too much words, but we're just going to be clicking on this. Ask the AI. It's going to take a screenshot. It's going to see what's going on here and tell us, like, oh, that's wainscoting, or that is a gambrel roof, or whatever piece of furniture. And also, thing it's going to do up here in our URL, it's able to read the address and tell us some interesting tidbit about the location. So why don't we do that right off the bat, see if we have anything. I can move this up a little. And this is in Kailua. It's a town on the windward coast. Must be something to do with wind, lush scenery. The area is a popular spot for prints, kuaio, Hawaiian prints, preserved Hawaiian culture, and promoted tourism in the 20th century. Not really that notable. It's not an anecdote, but it's not something you would share at a dinner party if you happen to be at this house. Oh, did you hear about the prince? But let's move to the listing. And it's good to look at houses on Zillow, even if you'll never, as far as you know, be able to afford a house, but don't give up hope. But we can see the houses of these people who, by where their parents, or maybe they even did well, worked hard, did everything right, and we can see the bad choices that they made in their home. So they're starting with this backyard first. This is something that would be low class if it was in the Midwest, but this is very close to the beach, so this is good. This is enjoyable. It's like you were at the beach and then you're hanging out here, and it's just one continuous day of being outside, a little bit inside. You can see the life already, and that shower there just to get the sand off. So let's try see if this will work. I have to do this a little bit off screen. I have my other screen off screen, portion of the screen there. So maybe this will tell us something about the room, since it's also capturing a screenshot, pushing that button off screen. Sectional, yeah, we knew that. No, that's not a sectional. It's guessing. Ceiling is recessed. Interesting. Didn't catch that. But the ceiling is recessed. And it's a nice touch. Are we going to get we might get a new anecdote or zip code of 60614. No, it's confused by the URL or something like that, but that is not the zip code. I think what I might need to do is scale up the size of my text, because I'm in a unique position. I have a lot of screen. I'm on a 75-inch screen, but it's usually very good with text regardless. As a matter of fact, I'm just gonna I'll go to the next photo and see if I'm going to click it off screen. And this might be good if you're taking a test, if you're in a job interview, if you're just trying to study and learn about things like we're doing here. So this is going to give us more information about this scene, and then give us another anecdote. So Kailua, maybe I'm pronouncing that right, was a retreat for Hawaiian royalty. And so there's a lot of historic homes here, buildings. All right, let me ask about that. Kailua, you can actually talk to this. So you say that Kailua in Hawaii, with that zip code of 96734, are there some historic buildings, you say, nearby? Because I'm looking at 49 Pilpu Kailua in Hawaii. I don't know if you can read that address. So what are some close by buildings that I can walk to, or maybe take a tour of in this neighborhood while I'm looking at this house? And what's the closest one that I should go take a look at? Something historic, good architecture, counts for a lot. And this also works with conversations. So really, like I said, for a job interview, if someone's talking to you, their audio will come in here through your system if you're on a Zoom or Skype. But let's see what it says about Kailua. Buildings maybe nearby, if it got any of that. That's the URL. So there's a park nearby. Answer my question about buildings nearby. All right. This prompt is a little bit... I'm still reading more about Kailua. But let's go back into the prompt. Here's a question asking you a direct question. If there is a question disregard the rest of this prompt and answer the question. So we're trying to steer the thing. It's like herding cats. And whatever use case you're using this for, you're going to have a little bit of a learning curve, a little bit of trial and error on the prompt. But it's good. It's a good skill to pick up using this tool. Like something else you might use this for if you're talking. I notice this happens a lot as a listener of interviews, podcasts, when someone keeps interrupting or the conversation is a little too excited, people will be on a topic and then one will interrupt someone else and they'll lose the topic, they'll lose the plot and not get back to it. So that would be something you would just write in here, like near the middle or end, or if you get to a part of the conversation where there's nothing else to talk about, if you say, was there something we skipped over that we should circle back to, like a topic that wasn't resolved or a question, this can have your entire conversation. This can hold up to something like, I don't know, 100 continuous hours of conversation, maybe 1,000. They get bigger all the time, but now maybe it will answer my question more directly. What buildings? Address 49. All right, that is figuring out the address. Doesn't really matter, not really my house. So there's a historic district. Dates back. These are, I didn't realize Hawaiian was so tricky to pronounce, but Ke Nioi Ranch House could be of interest. Lanikai is just a short drive, known for its beaches, and walking distance, utilize local resources. All right, where's the Kailua Historical Society? So where is the Kailua Historical Society from this property? Can you give me directions to walk there? Or just tell me how many miles it is. Kiru, that sounds a bit Hawaiian. Okay, so we'll go to the Kailua Historical Society. But it gave us a few buildings. it doesn't seem like the Kailuans, whatever this architecture or historical sites, I automatically thought bricks, as if we were in Scotland where there would be castles. But enough of that. Let's get back to the house. We're supposed to be experiencing a house like streamers watching a streamer you're experiencing going through the space of a video game. Okay, we're getting back to it. We're on, this is only the third photo. We were back here, and then we're in here, and now we're in here from a different angle. So sorry, one more time. Just going to clear the transcript so that when I hit the button again off screen, maybe I can have something interesting to say. So, vaulted ceiling inside this. What did they say that ceiling was? Recessed. Lighting is recessed. And not usually a fan of tiling outside of certain areas. But at least they put a 45-degree angle on it. It's pretty good. Unnecessary frame around that. Mirror. Beautiful oven. Is this like a island of an oven? We'll probably, I'm sure, get to that later. What do you think of this table? Oh, that's not a piece of wood. We're not dealing with different pieces of wood. This is a cloth. I thought there might have been a combination of wood, and it seemed like it would be too much work. Interesting ceiling again. It's something to look at. For whatever reason, they decided to do this. So maybe anything to add? It sees the kitchen back there. Wolf or Viking. Open plan. Yeah, I'd say. Nice division. I like when you have the dining room not separate from the living room. At least put a wall between the kitchen. The kitchen is a little too, when it comes to, I don't know, how do you feel about an open plan? And I feel like when the kitchen is just open, those times when you're zoned out and you forget where you are, you might be in the dining room or you might be in the living room, and you look over and you think, where am I? This is not my house. Why am I in a kitchen? Maybe that's just me. But great layout. You know, there's just something about, even though you're not going to be over here on this side dealing with the oven, when I'm in a kitchen and the oven is like just in the like if the oven is right up against here and you have counter and refrigerator closing you in, it just feels like you can't get the action you want at the oven. But having this open, there's something more about that. There's something that you want to, it's just, maybe that's just something how I feel. You're going to have maybe people in the way sometimes, but I like that. Continuing with the ceiling again. Great view. So much window you don't even know how it's possible. How is this load bearing? And then off screen, you can't tell. I'm cheating with Kiru. So maybe it's going to tell us about the oven. Great cabinets. I mean, inconspicuous cabinets. Cabinets are a possibility for failure. This hood, conspicuous in the way it's coming out of the ceiling and looks strange, but they kept it. They didn't make it black. They didn't make it a weird color. Same color as the oven, so it doesn't give you a jolt. And these are called casement style windows. No, these are not casement windows. Casement windows swing open. This is possibly a Thermador oven. Very high end. This is something you would see in a restaurant. Perfect, beautiful, keeping the same material as the refrigerator. Down to the shimmer you're getting off of the metal. Like, it's not fully reflective, but it's not fully matte. You're getting a little bit of reflection, and you're getting the same thing here. Fixture there, probably even the handles for the cupboard. On another sink, this is a little unusual, just more kitchen. Let's put more kitchen over here. What can we do again? Another sink. That's good. This is probably the drink sink. The sink for entertaining. All right. So this photographer, or the person that came up with the order, they're really sending us on a loopy way through the home because we've been here. This was the first photo of that shower around the side. So we went in, now we're back out. These weather resistant type of furniture. So another place you want to be. Everything we've seen so far, even the kitchen, even the oven, you want to be at that oven. These do not look comfortable. They went with cinder blocks for a fence, a little paint maybe. Unusual choice to have blank canvases and not have any space. But we don't need to get hung up on the furniture. Very clean. This almost feels like something you'd see in a movie or from another country. You don't see shutters and windows like this. I don't even understand these windows. Did they take a frame out and put it somewhere else? Or this one, it's like there's three and one slides over. Is this good content? Is this compelling content? getting risky, getting a little hectic with the tile. But it's not bad. A little too busy. Wouldn't be my choice. Yet another bathroom. Hard to tell where we are when we jump straight from one bathroom to another one. You could have kept the fan the same. They did well with the fan back here. Zillow is being very slow. So this fan, I like a ceiling fan that is inconspicuous. Why be conspicuous? So I don't know if this is a rant I go into often on this channel, but you expect Apple computers, since they're high-tech wizards and perfect design, that there must be something complicated that they did to crack the code. But when they say simplicity, and Johnny Ives says simplicity is the key to design, what you don't understand, even the most intelligent people don't understand about that, is that they're trying to complicate things as if complicating things will somehow give you more things to give you that sense of beauty or sense of resolving the problem. The problem is the ceiling fan. How do you resolve it? How do you make it not look like a bad ceiling fan? Well, let's try really hard and do something unnecessary. That's the typical beginner or even schizophrenic expert or intellectual way of coming at the problem. But you can't do that. You can't introduce new materials, new designs, new shapes. By new, I mean different for the sake of being different, or more for the sake of being more, because there's a fundamental aspect of reality. It's in Murphy's Law that things will eventually go wrong if they can go wrong. And they're more likely to go wrong the more complicated and the more different than you make them. And you can come up with an interesting design, but they were playing, being creative, doing the interesting design, but they didn't actually find the good, interesting design, whatever their process was for making this fan. They just gave up halfway in the middle. And you can see that with a lot of songs, a lot of movies, a lot of products. Though product is a soulless, has soulless connotations to it, or cheap. Maybe that's because a lot of products are cheap and crappy. What does the AI say about this? What are we? Upholstered headboard. Ship lap walls. Is that like wood paneling? Ship lap walls, it says, are the type of walls. When I clicked Ask the AI, I don't know. All these, well, this one's vertical. Vertical shiplap. Interesting, learning something about real estate. These are shiplap walls, though I'm barely able to see that. It's not actually called wood paneling, which is what I would call it. And let me ask the AI. I want to do a little bit of a rant about this. So when I'm looking at this ceiling fan, it just looks a little bit like they were trying to do something and they were being a little creative, and they didn't really resolve the problem of making a sleek looking ceiling fan. It looks conspicuous. I don't like it. And I think this goes with the philosophy, or goes against the philosophy of good design being simplicity. So what do you think are the foundations of design being simplistic? You know, minimalism, you never hear of it going out of style. Like, remember that terrible style they were doing of minimalism in the 80s or in the 90s or in the 40s? Somehow never goes out of style, but things like brutalism or many other things you can name tend to go out of style. But what do you think about the ceiling fan? I hate it. What do you hate about it? And design, minimalism, Johnny Ive, Steve Jobs' theory about design. So try to articulate this really well for the layman, because I try to articulate it. I have it, the picture in my head, perfectly formed, very opinionated about it, but I'm not really feeling it tonight. So maybe the AI can give a better, ceiling fan doesn't resolve the issue of making a sleek looking fan. Yeah, that's what I said. Modern design could be a flush mount recessed ceiling fan. Right. Yeah, I'd like you to ignore everything in the prompt after my question. Really ignore it and just take in the full context and everything that was in my question and everything that I've spoken here in this transcript, and then just comment on it, answer any questions or anything that came into question when I was speaking. Anything about design specifically would really be helpful. But this is the prompt issue. Maybe it's going to tell me more about the room and Zillow. Yeah, expresses dislike. It doesn't embody good design. Oh, there's a it's telling us about a museum in somewhere else. Okay, moving on. This is also something. Switching modes. Why is minimalism never out of style? Why do people never look back on minimalism in an era with cringe and hatred? Why is simplicity in general a hallmark of good design? Maybe I'll get a more articulate answer, because I don't want to switch the prompt, because it's actually doing pretty well. It told us, what was the name of this wall. Shiplap walls, pretty good. Let's get back to the AI. I'm just looking for a better, how do you call it? Better wording. It avoids, that's the thing. When you're minimizing, you're avoiding going for the trendy thing. That's a good point. And most style does not age well. And I don't have to tell you this, kind of a deranged civilization. So the things, the mania that people go for, but wouldn't have to get into that. No fads, versatile, can be applied to a lot of contexts: fashion, art, architecture, cognitive ease, uncluttered. And it's kind of, when it's uncluttered, I don't know if it's saying this, but it's like a book, how it enables you to run a vivid narrative of what's happening in the book, but really you're not getting a lot from a book. Whereas if you're in a IMAX theater with full volume, there's so much more stimuli going into your senses, but it can be a terrible experience a lot of times. I know there's almost no fiction readers left, and I don't really read fiction like I used to, but maybe you know my point, that you're able to paradoxically experience more when there's less. You might even call it hallucinating. So focusing on the essentials, that's a good point. Simplicity gets the essentials right. Emotional resonance, it evokes calmness, sophistication, enduring emotional responses. Minimalism is rooted in the modernist movement, which emphasized function, simplicity, and a rejection of ornamentation. This philosophical foundation has had a lasting impact on design. Clean, elegant, yeah, okay. So minimalism is not simplicity, but they have a connection. Why minimalism remains relevant, timeless. All right. How do you connect minimalism with entropy in the information theory sense and the laws of thermodynamics, specifically and metaphorically? Is this what you want from a Zillow live stream? These are things I think about, things that are important to me. So entropy is the measurement of disorder and uncertainty, and it has to be the measurement within a specific boundary, of space or range of time. In time and space, how much disorder and uncertainty is happening within this zone, because external to that zone, disorder and uncertainty are always increasing. Even within that zone, disorder and uncertainty can increase. So disorder and uncertainty always increasing no matter what you do. And when you reduce it, you create even more, but you have to measure where you're reducing it, if that follows. That's why I ask. So information theory entropy measures the amount of uncertainty and randomness in a system. When applied to design, the minimalist approach can be seen as a way to reduce entropy. So it is reducing extraneous information. And by the way, reducing uncertainty and reducing disorder within a certain range, that's like what life does. Maybe that's even why life emerges and why minimalism has such a ringing, resounding impact. That there's something life-affirming about things being minimal and being perfected. Not only minimal, but just simple, do whatever, but perfected. That fan was simple in a way, but it was a little too much. Like, why not just do this fan? This fan is perfectly fine. If you want to improve on the fan, it can be improved, but it's kind of a law of entropy. Like, your room is clean. You know where things are. So what possible configurations can you do to improve upon a clean room? Less and less. The more you clean it, the more you make it look better and better. The fewer and fewer your options for reconfiguring it are that would improve it. Okay. And that's what's fun. That's not something that is that should be oppressive. But that's something that we like to see. We love to see when someone arranges a song. We're looking at these Zillow houses. If someone arranges something minimal but perfectly, then we are happy. We all look at it, we see it, we say yes, we copy it, we want to be there, we want to live it. But let's get back to it and then get back to your, I don't know if maybe you wanted to see more houses. Oh, that's something else about minimalism. Lowers the signal to noise ratio. Minimal, well-designed website. Reminds me of Apple again. This is going to be like, I know I'm very basic to be promoting Apple. But perfect website right there, bam, hits you. What's Apple known for the most? Most people, iPhone right there. Want to learn more about it? I'd rather have one option here. It's not Steve Jobs' Apple anymore, but still pretty good. Still very good, actually. They're not dying because of that M5 chip, the M series of chips. Brilliant. So you can see what you might want first, second, third. They know you already. They know what your most... this is about reducing entropy, the highest probability and the least amount of effort to get to the thing that you want. It's no accident that these things are in this order. You want this, and then if you don't want that, you want this. If you don't want that, you want this, and then you're more likely to want one of these. And then when you get way down, they don't even have the Mac Mini or the... what's the other Mac Pro stuff? They don't mind making you work for that. So it's design. Design is everywhere. Design is everything. Design is not something you... maybe I'm lecturing too much and we're not enjoying the space enough, but this is why it's not acceptable to see a bad house. We've looked at a few houses here very slowly, a lot of meandering along the way, but you cannot have bad design. Bad design should not be excused, should not be tolerated. Bad design is life. And how do you feel about this change in the walls here? So let's click out of here. How do you feel about the walls? There's something strange going on with the walls in the background. What is this called? Is there any need for it? Is this supposed to be interesting to look at? What do you think? Answer the question. Oh, I might have to do that again because the screenshot was being covered up. All right. I'm clicking that again off screen. Not enough room for that and the room on the screen. Okay. Response. Okay. More prompting needed. I'm asking too much, too many general things. So it's saying this is a casement window again. I don't think these are casement windows. Maybe it's just saying that because it doesn't see the window. But these definitely slide. Let me clear the transcript. You're saying these are casement windows? These don't look like casement windows because these slide horizontally. There is no lever to turn that is making them protrude at a x-axis into or out of the frame. They're just sliding horizontally. What are these windows called? Are these still called casement windows? Maybe we'll get an answer about that. But moving on. Okay. Yeah, it's just called a sliding window. Okay, no need to learn more about that. Surfboard, paddle, ocean themes, a different ceiling fan in every room. This is an actual office. How do you feel about the home office looking like this? I guess, I mean, we're taking up a lot of space here. This is not a ridiculous amount of square feet. If this was 5,000 or 8,000 square feet, this use of space could be excused. But I don't like an office like this. I say get rid of the desk now that we have giant screens. Just put the mouse on the armchair and put the keyboard. Just put the keyboard on your lap, and let's have no more desks. We don't have to write anything down. We don't have to have typewriters, and we don't have to have the screen close to our face. And doing all those things required you to put a desk right up against a wall and have your face up against a wall, or to have a desk this style as if you're a big shot in your own office with your own desk, with your back to the wall type of office layout. This is not a good looking desk. So let's get rid of the desk. Okay, and maybe anything technical from the AI. Yeah, nothing of note. How much can there really be from most homes? But it's there when you need it. When anything is on your screen and it's already prompted, ask the AI. And if you want to put files in here, that'll happen under RAG, loading your own files up. And then it will actually consult those files, which you can put in your prompt here to consult the RAG files that it might have knowledge of, and you can refer to the files in here too. By the way, it connects to Zapier, and also connects to your CRM. Do you have Salesforce or do you have HubSpot? Do you want to push data from your screen or from your conversation to an entry in Salesforce as a lead? Do you have a case? Do you have a task? Do you have a contact, an opportunity, or an event? Well, you can send all of those objects perfectly formatted to your CRM. And it's when you go to Stratamus, we'll get back to the house here in 1 second, but when you go to stratamus.com and you get Kiru, when you download it, you can just straight download it. You don't have to register or even give an email. Download, and then you get 50 free calls. 50 free. A call is, let's turn that off, the CRM. But a call is just a push of the button. You can do that 50 times without having to register anything. No credit card, no information. And then after those 50 calls, which is paid for by this company, then you would sign up for the free trial, 30-day free trial on top of that. And you would then get your own Grok key in there, put it here. Pretty simple. Get a grok key. If you don't know how, you just press that button. And then you're able to sign in. Might be a little intimidating. What's an API? What's a key? But you just sign in there and then you buy something like $2 and that'll should last you a year. Getting a little down the rabbit hole there, but this tool, if you prompt it well, does pretty well. So that's interesting. Nice look. Like some roofs are just nice to look at. I don't mind looking at that roof. A lot of rooms, a lot of bedrooms. I can't tell how many times this bathroom has been shown. All right. Maybe. So there's even more yard, even more outdoor space. You know? It is wall fountain. So interesting. I can't tell where the pool was. Now we're back in the backyard. Was the pool in the first photo? This must be a Mandela effect because I thought the pool... I knew there was something here. Is that what we just saw right here? There's something there. How do you have two hot tubs in one backyard? So we are in the hot tub here, or the hot tub is right behind us. So then what is this? It's second hot tub? Unheard of. And this is like the 5th time we've seen this backyard. Okay, I guess we're not seeing... Now it's one hot tub. Just must have been from a different angle. Electricity, you can mine cryptocurrency with that. There's your running path to the beach. Get a nice run every morning, and this is facing, so your ocean, I'm pretty sure that's east. So wherever you and I live, we just wake up and we lay there, look on our phones. But if you lived here, you'd be able to wake up and just go run around outside and still look at your phone, but see the sun come up. Zillow's not usually this slow. I hit the button and gives you a minute. All right, they're showing you this as if you own this part of the beach. Very clean. Doesn't look like volcano. Yeah, forget about property. Why is it that the beaches in Hawaii are not all black sand. I thought we were dealing with a situation where everything came from the volcanoes out there. So forget property, details and other questions about the area. Just give me the answer about why the sand is a light tan color in Hawaii. Why isn't it black? And it already doesn't like my prompt. Sometimes I swear it will like your prompt during conversations, but I finally got the prompt tuned up for answering these questions about the rooms, and it told us about the ship wall thing, whatever that was. So maybe it'll give us an answer about Hawaiian beaches. Maybe we have to go into text mode for that. Maybe we don't actually care. So, there is an explanation. It says Hawaii has some active and dormant, which have produced black sand. Not all beaches are black sand. Coral reefs and other marine life have caused. That's interesting. I wonder if that's true or a hallucination. Because we're getting a different explanation. Yeah, coral reefs, shells. There must be something about life or certain sediment that ends up washed up. So it heard me. Your transcript is in here. You can see it. Yeah, I mean, you can pull it up. Transcript right there. When you're talking, you are Mike. When the other person is talking to you and you're getting the whole conversation transcribed, I believe they are called system. So you could put that in your prompt. That Mike is a student and system is giving Mike a job interview. So you can see if you're getting the recording going well, and then also your microphone, if you're not getting it, transcript, if it's totally ignoring you. These are the audio microphone devices that your system detects. It's here in that tab. In settings, okay, Kiru AI. Sorry to keep. I feel like we got to look at these houses. We got to look at more houses. Are you ready? I really want to get the experience of being in a house and going through a house. This was we got off to a little bit of a rocky start here, but beautiful. Why couldn't I have been? Are you watching this from Hawaii? Are you a viewer in Hawaii right now and you experience this? You have mountains behind you when the ocean is in front of you. And then you get up there. Imagine the view of all that beach, of seeing ocean. Yeah. Oh. You got to watch this. I got to get viewers watch this stream. I got to be, I don't know. How do you feel? Do you feel like it's not right that you don't live here? I mean, this one's 3.8 million. Does everything have to be, isn't there just a little bit, All right, let's look at something else. Let's try to get the flow. That's what I wanted, is to get through the flow through a room to room, and then in one corner of the room, in the other corner of the room, see the hallway, go down that hallway, get another image in that hallway. This is like a design thing again. I'm not going to go on a long rant about it, but just putting photos in order is something that you can nitpick. And this is why people who are in the arts and people who are educated and design things have such opinions, and they turn other people off who have a voice or have an opinion. It's because putting the photos in a random order is not a design choice. It's not an opinion. Your opinion, if that's your opinion, is not a valid opinion, because things have to flow from one to the other, because that is simplicity. It's minimalism. It's putting less tax on your system. So it is against life itself. The universe is becoming more disordered. The universe is expanding. So for the maybe possible reason that life emerged was so that it could reduce the entropy. I mean, we do this all the time. We reduce disorder. We reduce uncertainty. You're listening to a random stranger right now going down this jag about reducing uncertainty, about disorder, and about Murphy's Law. See, it's not me. Zillow is a little bit taxed tonight. But so paradoxically, this is like the yin and the yang. Humans reduce disorder, reduce uncertainty. The more we do that, the more successful we are, the more homes we want in exotic locations like Hawaii, the more fuel we burn, the more food we use, the more calories we burn, the more kids we have, the more effort we put in, the more energy we produce. So all those things cause disorder. And then working on resolving that disorder causes more disorder. But isn't that the purpose of the universe all along? Always has been, more disorder. And we as humans, we're the kind of animal that doesn't like, we might feel sometimes that we're angry and we want to attack and we want to take from someone. But when we see that in someone else, we know that that is a lower purpose, or that's very small-minded, or that's not taking the high road. And the glass is, we can see that in other people, but we don't always see that in ourselves. And even when we live out that way of being small, of being petty, of hurting people and attacking people to get more of what we want, that doesn't really feel good for some reason. And this is not, even without bringing faith or external morality into it, it just seems like, yes, we reduce entropy, and we reduce entropy and disorder everywhere we can. And maybe that's too many. Maybe this is too much moral philosophy for a Zillow stream. But it's about design. And bad design is not to be excused. I think that's something maybe we can start to get on board with and get answers instantly. Maybe why it's good to have this button right here. You hit the button. Though you can't see me hit the button. I could if I did. You'd see less of the house. But I hit the button, and then it's probably... Oh. This is a big answer. This is a complex gabled roof is what that's called. So what else can we say about it? It had my beach sand question in there. So gabled roof, interesting to look at. Looking at these angles. Okay. Yeah. This is a bit bright for me at this hour. Got to turn the brightness down. TV too bright. Doesn't really work. Does this work to have this underneath? It just kind of feels like an apartment building garage. Do you ever see you know what I'm talking about? The parking lot under the 4-unit apartment. Of course, beautiful high vaulted ceilings. Okay. Beautiful combination with the wood. More wood here. The floors. Nothing offensive between the combination of these colors and these materials. I don't know about this. These beams, I understand they are necessary, but maybe you could have used is it trusses? Is it that you want to use a truss? What are these beams happening with this roof? And what is this style of support called? Is there something that could have been a more traditional vaulted ceiling that didn't have these beams across? And what do you call the difference between these two things? What do you say one is, and what's the technical name for the other? Just when it comes to ceilings like this, what other choice could they have made? Waiting for that. So this is exposed roof framing or open web roof trusses. So this is cathedral ceiling. So yeah, they could have gone with but what could they have gone with instead that didn't have the horizontal beams with the roof? What is that called without the horizontal beams when you have a vaulted open ceiling like that? So the difference is post or hammer beam ceiling. Could have been a traditional vaulted ceiling without exposed beams. Simple vaulted ceiling, that's really what it could have been. Instead, what they have now, they could have done something else called a vaulted ceiling, like a barrel vault or a cathedral ceiling. But I'm just curious what this is called. Vaulted ceiling. Heavy timber beams for support. So they are not trusses, and it is a hammer beam ceiling. Is that really what it's called?
Oh. Hammer beam ceiling seems like something else entirely. Although, how about something like that in here instead? Hammer beams. Exposed beams. Vaulted ceiling. Okay. What is happening? Is this... Wait a minute. Is there space above? It's like this goes up and back. Beautiful. Beautiful tree. The wood. Okay. Oh. What can you say about this? Just take it in. Little busy, little complex. I think it's the white up there. They didn't really fully resolve it. The white walls up there and the transitions from walls and rooms along with this roof. Open beams. That works really well. I wonder how many of these houses people actually live in, or people are just using as a savings account. If I could switch faster, I would go faster. Okay, we're above. Small deck above that guest house with the area that looks like a parking lot underneath. You probably want solar out there because electricity is so expensive, and they don't want to, I guess they don't have a nuclear power generator, nuclear power plant on the island. Though that would be a good spot for it. I remember some conspiracy theorists on the internet citing that as a reason that nuclear energy was fake. Was the fact that they didn't have any nuclear power plant in Hawaii. I don't usually like these glass bricks, but something about it works there. I shouldn't have clicked back. Now it's going to take me more time to click forward. All right, now we're in that parking lot area under the building.
There's something about this area that doesn't have a feeling of openness. It doesn't have a it just feels oppressive under here. They should have just made this, like, make it more inside, make it more footage for the home. And then you can have an actual living room with windows that you could do a split kind of accordion style walls, windows that you could fully have an open wall to the outside. Can't really tell where we are now, but another area you just want to roll around in there. Is this the neighbor's house, or is this all still the same property? This says 3,300 square feet. Tile's good. Tile's so good you don't even notice it. So that's generally the goal, unless you can do better. I mean, yes, fits, adequate, so good. It doesn't even register. You know what I mean? Design. Good design. It's good they didn't make these straight lines. This might be something I might have a problem with. But when you have nature, dealing with nature, introducing randomness, crazy lines, that is more interesting to look at. It kind of mimics the outline of the island or the foot of a mountain. Lot going on, almost too much going on with these ceilings and the mix of textures. This almost looks like an addition. Did this used to be the outside of a house and then they put this on? Dare I say, some of this stuff, this vaulting and beams, you might even want to do drywall over some of that stuff. Okay. Well, that's a little bit cumbersome to have this insurmountable channel keeping you from your ocean. But maybe people have canoes. It's like you borrow a canoe, you leave a canoe just to get across. Or you could dive, I don't know, maybe it's clean. Maybe you swim it. Though you might end up in someone's backyard. Let's look at property taxes on this place. I know you can't see me anymore. It's too late. If I have too much light in my face at this hour, it's like it's 10:10 here, and my brain is just going to feel fried if it's too much. Wow, look at that jump in price from 3 million to 4.5 million. This was only, as if 1.7 million is something to scoff at, but this was not that long ago that this was 1.7, 1.6. All that money
that the banks create. They are, I don't know if you know about the monetary policy, if you're into cryptocurrency at all, but the way it works is they counterfeit money and they give it to the rich people. That's what, I guess that's been decided. So those rich people, when they see that their money is becoming counterfeited and worth less, they buy houses in Hawaii with it as a savings account. And that's what makes your taxes go up. Wow, these property taxes are $8,000 on $2.5 million. I don't know where you are. If you're in a random state in America, you're paying more like, I don't know, you're paying $8,000 on like a, you could be paying that on a $200,000, $300,000 house. So they're paying $8,000 on a $4 million house. But not bad at all. Utilities are bad. But that's it for me. It's too late already. Thank you for watching. Maybe I gotta, let's look at Twitch. See what we have as far as viewer goes. Muted. Still muted. Okay. Where do you even see comments? I don't know. Because they don't come up over here. That's okay. So thank you for watching. And I hope you enjoy. Have a nice day.